Hello and welcome back one more time. Oh yeah, that's the sound of another podcast starting. We're back with another episode of the Club Soda Club. Today, thank you to our sponsor Safeway. Not official in ink yet, but I think that we're coming to a meeting of the minds, and so maybe a verbal contract is close to being negotiated. So we gotta listen, man. And Safeway, we love them, obviously. The pineapple selection was not up to par. So, it's normally a big part of my diet. I like the pineapple. They didn't have any that looked good. It all looked white and crunchy. So I didn't get any. So today we're snacking on strawberries and blueberries. And also, we talked about it last time, but they keep going back and forth between the club soda and the seltzer water. This one's sodium free, which, I don't know what that's doing. Neither here nor there. But, we're going to be eating. We're going to be drinking. We're going to be getting into some stuff. I was let go from my day job this past week, and you know what's funny? I've never been fired before, but I have to imagine that when you want a job and you like a job, or at least you're 100% reliant on the income from a job, getting fired probably is a shitty experience. And, am I here to say that I loved every minute of it? No, of course not. But turns out I don't want to be a waiter. So, in that regard, pretty awesome to not have to do that anymore. And while we're in the neighborhood of food and fresh fruit, and we all know this. The internet is a place where you can build a version of yourself that you want other people to see. And it doesn't necessarily represent the truth of what every minute of your day-to-day life looks like. So, that being said, I've come on this podcast and I've eaten pineapple and I'm drinking soda water and I'm eating fresh fruit. But the reality is, I'm a guy who has eaten an entire bag of chips in one day, multiple times in the past week. So many foods exist just because they're fun to eat. I am embarrassed to have ever eaten a snack or a sweet. I mean, how fucking stupid. Like a donut with pink frosting and rainbow sprinkles. It's like, ooh, that looks good. That's how easy it is to trick our brain. Being like, donuts literally have zero nutritional value and they'll probably kill you. But you see it and you're like, well, that looks good. I guess I'll try them. So, just pretty embarrassing overall. It's never really been my thing since I started comedy. Never really been my thing to address current events or world issues. I think there was a time when comedians would go up and they would criticize the government, and it would be cool and it would be badass and it was like risky. But nowadays, not even comedians, every single person is going out criticizing the government. And and I'm not just talking about Donald Trump, I'm not just talking about Joe Biden. It's very easy to criticize the people that are in power in America. So I'm not like, I don't know, it's just not that appealing to me to talk about the problems in the world, because we all know about the problems in the world and we can't really do anything about it. when I was a kid, I used to think about this all the time. Like, people, there's just a general problem right now in society. That is, people feel like they don't have enough time. People are constantly being crushed by anxiety. They're living lives that they don't really want to live. You know, in America, unless you're like completely a millionaire, generationally wealthy, you know, you have to participate in the quote unquote rat race, which, you know, the end that you're fighting for in that situation has gotten worse and worse. The grand prize for winning the rat race, the cheese, has gotten smaller and smaller that you might win at the end of the rat race. And so people, they hate the situation they're in. They're constantly working. They don't have any free time. They're out of shape. They're tired. Their food they're eating is killing them. Whatever. But this was my solution to that problem. Because when I was a kid, I used to feel like you'd wake up, you'd go to school, you'd come home and do your homework, and then the day was over. And it's like you just have to go do it all again tomorrow. But then I would think about how people, for most of existence, I should have Googled this before I sat down. This is why we need somebody here to help me to Google shit while I'm recording. People live to like 28 for most of history. You know, if you lived till 30, you were lucky. And then I'm sure it got to a point where if you lived till 40 or 50, you were lucky. But most of existence, people were dying at like 30, 40 years old. Now, you know, assuming you don't get in a car accident or whatever, the life expectancy is like 70, 80 years old. Some people live until 90, 100. So I feel like we got more time. You know what I mean? It's not like they weren't doing shit with the time they had. They would only live 30 years, and these people would invent stuff. They'd discover new types of math. They'd write music. Like, so it's not like 30 years isn't enough time. So my idea was alter the calendar so that life takes place over a period that's twice as long. So instead of Monday lasting for 24 hours, Monday would last for 48 hours. You know, so here's Monday in this world, in this scenario. You wake up, you go to work or school, you come home, you eat dinner, you go to sleep, and then when you wake up the next day, the calendar still says Monday. You know? So now, instead of a year taking 365 days, it takes 730 days. Right? Follow me now. So, everything is now spread out over twice as long. Now, you've got a 48-hour period. You go to work Monday morning, you do all your work stuff Monday, you come home, you eat dinner, you relax, and then the next day, now you've just got a day off because it's still Monday. You already did all the work shit for Monday. You know what I mean? So we're just changing the name of the calendar, but now we get to take advantage of the 75 years that we have, rather than trying to double up on productivity, because is that even really working? Are people better than they are? Nobody knows how to even build the pyramids now. Those guys were all like 15. The pyramids were built by a bunch of 15-year-old Jews. And what are we doing now? So anyway, I'm pretty sure that would crumble the world economy. I guess it would divide it in half. You know, but there's things we could do. Some people work the first half of Monday, some people work the second half of Monday. We could make some arrangements. Just think it's something to think about. Obviously, if you're a farmer, that wouldn't really be possible. You got to tend to the crops on a daily basis. But you know what I mean? That just feels like, let's just chill everyone's anxiety out. Let's roll it back. What else we got going on? Oh, speaking of a long time ago, I was thinking about, like, being a caveman. Well, first I was thinking about that I think 2025, I think the time period we live in right now is the easiest time to get laid in American history. And that's coming from a guy who hasn't had sex in 7 months. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everybody's out here constantly having sex, but I'm saying if you want to have sex, you can just go on Tinder or Hinge or Grindr or whatever, and you can meet somebody who probably wants to have sex with you today. And not even, aside from that, go to a fucking bar on a Friday or Saturday night. It stinks of horn. It stinks of people just who are like, obviously, you know what I mean? We all get dressed up. We all put on our little fucking things. Girls are wearing makeup. Everybody's out there drinking. They're dying to have sex with somebody, literally anybody. And so it's like, you know what I mean? In the fucking 60s, you had to, first of all, there's only like 25 people in your town. So now, you know what I mean? You've got to get one of the girls from your school who's not fucking engaged yet. You know what I mean? Hopefully you get engaged at the senior prom. So nobody's having sex in high school. And then after high school, everybody just gets married. That's not getting laid. And then if you look back even further than that, like think about a caveman. And then this is what, you know what I mean? How many women or men would a cave community really have access to, that people are, similar in age? And people weren't even, this whole thought process basically led me to realize that consensual sex was invented like 75 years ago. Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. Guys were still trading around their daughters as property. I mean, it's really crazy how fast the world can change. We went from literally being like, if you give me 10 cows, your son can fuck my daughter. And now we're like, oh yeah, Dua Lipa, she's cool. That's now what you have to do to have sex with somebody. Oh no, I don't listen to a lot of this is yelling in a bar. No, I don't listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, but I know she's great. You can just tell. It's 105 degrees out here. Break time. I'll probably move. America right now is this weird thing where every place you go is more or less the same. Obviously you've got places like New York City and Los Angeles that are, fairly unique. Really, especially New York. It's got so many different types of people. It's got tourism. It's got, the whole Times Square thing. It's got the fashion thing. They're doing television shit there. Los Angeles, kind of the same. There's a ton of people going to visit. But ultimately, those cities are just kind of prohibitively expensive to live in. But, yeah, I mean, it's like, I came to Phoenix in January. It's cool here. Don't get me wrong. I actually think I think Phoenix probably could be a great city. But what I've come to learn is the summer is so hot that enough people leave that it renders the economy non-functional for 3 months. Fucking businesses are closing early, shutting down. Old Town Scottsdale is a fucking ghost town. Like, and it's kind of like the opposite of Chicago. Except for in Chicago, the winter is so bad that it would make you want to not live there. Except for the people of Chicago have learned how to hunker down and basically just get drunk for an entire winter, and then that's how they make it through. And then that keeps the economy going because everybody's still going to bars and restaurants and shows and shit like that. So Phoenix, however cool it is 9 months of the year, just not really a place that you can be, you know. God, what a weird fucking life. It's 105 degrees out right now. I'm just like trying not to sweat. You ever try not to sweat? Just fucking just try to hold it in. You know what I mean? You'll be on a date with a girl or something like that in the summer and it's all hot and you're just like at dinner, you're trying to eat your food and just not move. How do you stop using your cell phone literally all the time? That's what's crazy is about it is I can go long stretches of time without looking at my phone. It's not something, you know what I mean? If I can be busy doing something, I am perfectly happy to not look at my phone. And I think if you asked me, I would tell you that Instagram is mostly a waste of time. But for whatever reason, you know, you get me sitting on the couch, you know what I mean? If I go smoke a joint and then come back inside the house, I just find myself absolutely doom scrolling in this crazy way. I've got my phone set to black and white, and it does basically nothing to have me use my phone less. You know, why is it so enticing to the human brain? I don't want to be on there. I guess it's become this thing now. You know, I've always kind of struggled with using it too much, but now it's this thing of like, it's my whole connection to all my friends. You know, I live here in Phoenix, but I don't really know anybody. Yeah, I hang out with the comics, but like, I don't really know anybody. So anytime I'm going to talk to one of my friends, it's going to be on my phone. But then it's so easy to just go right over to Instagram. And they've got us by the fucking balls, dude. Because you need Instagram. Like, you know what I mean? I've got this show tonight, and I set up the group chat for it. And so now if any of the comics need anything from me, I can check Instagram. And then it's so easy to just swipe over and start scrolling reels again. Gust of wind. The Lord has made his presence felt in this podcast. The gust of wind from God Almighty to cool down the studio and reward a job well done. I mean, man, is there anything funnier than a drunk guy hitting his head on the corner of a table? You know what I mean? How am I ever gonna beat Instagram Reels? What I'm doing right now is an Instagram Reel. Not only am I literally using my phone to record what I'm doing right now, but after I finish recording, I will edit this, and then it will be something that I post on Instagram. I saw a clip of Prince talking last night. the musician, not the great Prince of England. May he rest in peace. But we'll put up the picture. Good old Prince Phil. Before I talk about the Prince thing, if you haven't seen, Prince Philip, days before he died, was released from the hospital. You know, I don't even know what was wrong with him. He was near death, and he was in the hospital, and it got to the point where they were just like, why don't you send him home, let him spend the rest of his hours in Buckingham Palace. And there's this picture of him riding home in the car, just looking so terribly fucked up, but still smiling in a way for him to be, you know, he's a fucking figurehead, right? It's his job to be, hello, people of England, I feel great. But he's so fucked up. Everything on my body hurts. Anyway, so that picture will be here for you to enjoy. God, I love looking at that. But yeah, Prince. Prince was talking about, he goes, it's okay to go on the internet, but don't let the internet go on you. Or whatever. He goes, you can use the computer, but don't let the computer use you. And I know I'm making fun of it, but honestly, that's what it feels like, dude. It feels like, it's like that thing everybody used to say, it's like, oh, you're picking up your dog's poop. Who's the real master? It's like that with phones. Yeah, you carry it around in your pocket all day, but also, that's crazy. Your phone couldn't go anywhere without you. God, I sound so stupid. I'm just saying, the phone needs us. It's like a virus. The phone can't do anything if it just sits there. It needs human contact to turn it on and for it to do anything. And then yet, instead of being like, oh, cool, I can use this phone to make something happen for me, it's just like, I mean, literally, what is the point of Instagram Reels? Is it entertainment? It's like not. It's non-sexual jacking off. Man, this podcast is taking a serious turn. I recorded an episode of this with fellow comedian and friend Carter Doherty, and I felt like we were too serious. Like, I felt like we were talking about a little too much behind the scenes, and now here I am, and that's what I'm talking about. And I'm not even saying this to be negative or to get down on myself. The reality is that probably nobody is even listening to this. This is almost just an exercise in discipline and exploring my own mind and thoughts. It's honestly just something for me to do to keep myself from looking at Instagram Reels. You know, I woke up today, immediately went on Instagram, did that for a while. Eventually I got up and got dressed and brushed my teeth and went to the gym. And, you know, worked out, did the sauna, did the cold plunge. It's not like I had some lazy ass fucking day, but also I'm not good for the rest of the day. Like, if you wake up, go to the gym, and eat something healthy, that is not even close to everything that you need to do in a day. Well, I hope somebody likes this. I gotta imagine, I feel like there's a lot of thoughts that I start and kind of don't finish on this, but I don't know. It's gotta be at least kind of interesting to listen to. normally the first ones of these I liked doing. At least when I went back to it. But now this one wasn't as fun to make. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us this week on another episode of Club Soda Club. Thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Come watch me do stand-up if you're in the Phoenix area. Other than that, may God's light shine upon you. And, we'll see you next time.